Welcome to the Theology of Everything, a worldview discussion between friends. Join the conversation on a variety of topics as your hosts explain how to recognize the perspectives we encounter within church and culture. Hi, everybody. Welcome back once again to Theology of Everything as we review and watch the Elevations album When Wind Meets Fire. We are moving on to the song Easy, which, couple of things, just scanning over the lyrics and then seeing the video. So we've looked at these videos now, y'all. This is our 13th of 14. And they have two different locations. One location had Maverick City and the other location had Leland. And we are back at the Leland location. And I think it's because in this song, they use the words Waymaker and Chainbreaker. And like in the bridge, they're using some of the lyrics from his song. So I'm wondering if they like, hey, we're planning on writing this song and we're going to use some of your phrases. So would you be interested in, so let's make sure we record that on the day that Leland's on stage, just to like be like, hey, we have his permission to use these lyrics.
Very interesting.
Just
all right. Shall we
note,
get straight to it?
Yes, diving right in. So, once again, we are not going to be sharing the video. We'll just be reading the lyrics as we see them. If you are interested in watching the video or seeing it or following along, you can find the lyrics through a Google search or you can find the video on YouTube. In fact, you could probably have us open in one tab and this lyric video open in another tab, and you could be tabbing it back and forth.
I don't know if they can handle that, Kourtney.
Alt tab, alt tab, alt tab.
That might be a lot for a person.
Well, as we know, I have from last video to this video become a technological expert and have entered the 20th century. No more .coms for me.
You've been doing your homework.
Yeah, this is not being recorded in the same outfit on the same night at all.
Or maybe we dress the same way to make y'all think that.
Maybe.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay.
All right.
There we go.
So that's
okay.
First verse and chorus.
Yes.
When I praise your name, my problems look small, 'cause if it's your fight, this giant will fall. 10,000 battles, you win them all. When I praise your name, my problems look small. And then the chorus, 'cause when you say mountains move, they do. They do. When you speak to the sea, it breaks in two. What I call impossible is easy for you. What I call impossible is easy for you.
Can I just say, if you are a person who's at all familiar with the Bible, do you have your Bible with you, Adam?
In the other room.
Okay, mine's across the room, so I'm not going to grab it. But the Bible has 66 books, y'all, and it has myriad of stories, examples, word pictures, things that God says about himself, things that God did. And even in John, I think it says that if we were to write down all of the stuff that Jesus did while he was on earth, it would fill books too numerous to count. It is so tiring for me. The same images over and over and over again. Once again, the parting of the Red Sea. Once again, it's a giant. Once again, it's some, it's like, what are some of the other ones in here? It's once again, I guess those two are the walls falling down. Like, it's
the
just
bones coming back to life.
The bones always wake up. Yes, the bones at Ezekiel. I get, it's so whatever. It's it could be laziness. It's, it's whatever it is, them trying to produce so many songs so fast. I mean, That could be it. But it's disheartening. It's exhausting and disheartening. Like, there are so many, I don't know, whatever.
Well, you bring up an interesting point that I was actually talking to a Nashville songwriter several years ago, and he was explaining because I used to love country music, as you've mentioned several times, and now I don't because I think they all sound the same. And they're all talking
Mhm.
about the same couple of things, riding your truck with your girl with the beer.
Mhm.
Whereas the music I grew up on was a lot more storytelling and a lot better at it. And this
Mhm.
songwriter was explaining why nowadays a lot of songs sound basically the same because of the way songwriting contracts are now. They have to put out so many songs so quickly that you kind of keep going back to the same ideas over and over just to get another song. And
Mhm.
I guess when you put it that way, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what Elevation is doing because if you go back and listen, I mean, I used to be a really big Elevation worship fan, so I've been listening to their music for a long time, and there was a long while that each album was different from each other, but it seems like the last 5 to 7 years, every album is basically the same, and I guess I would hope maybe this is unrealistic, but I would hope for a church that's putting out music they're not just putting out music just to do it like a Nashville songwriter would do. I would hope that
Mhm.
they're putting out music because God is speaking something to them that they want to share with people and lead people in. But it
Mhm.
it honestly feels like they're just putting out music just to do it. And I don't know if it's just for the money or because they're in a contract or they feel like they have to for whatever reason, but it does seem like they just keep going, and I mean, it does more than just seem. They 100% keep going back to the exact same 5 to 8 maybe stories in the Bible.
Mhm.
I mean, if you really went through, I mean, how many times have we been reading the Bible after years of being a Christian and we see something new? Why
Totally new.
can't
Mhm.
why don't they find one of those and write a song about it? And it would share the same ideas about God because He's the same. No matter
Yeah.
which part of the Bible you look at, God is the same. So we can see the same lesson or see the same type of characteristic of God in a different story and a different perspective. And it feels like laziness, or it feels like
Yeah.
a
Or a
combination
lack
of
of
all these
knowing. They
things.
just don't know the Bible at all.
Yeah.
Like, these songwriters, they just know, what do they know? The storybook Bible, like the Bible with pictures in it.
But Stephen Furtick himself is a songwriter on every single one of these songs. And they have several, but he's always one of them. So you think he would know the Bible.
You would think, if you have a Bible reading believing pastor who is, but that goes to, now we aren't reviewing his sermons here, but if you guys have ever watched or listened to Elevation sermons, to me they are the same thing with just different skin. Like, no matter what he puts out there, no matter what like object lesson he ties to it, whether I've seen him building a Lego set, I've seen him put his son on a treadmill on stage, I've seen him, I'm trying to think of other images, but there are always, there's whatever the object lesson is that he uses, he is saying the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's always this, you can only see a piece, but God has a plan, you know? So that was the Lego one. And then with his son on the treadmill, it's like, he doesn't know why I'm doing it, but I have a reason for, he's training for this. And so I have a reason for doing it. He doesn't know why it's here. He doesn't know why I'm doing this, but I have this. Or, like, I guess he talks about one of his other sons who does music, and he's like, you didn't know why you liked it, but now, it's because that's what God put in you. Or, like, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. There's multiple ones he does, and it's the same thing. So maybe it's just a feature of Elevation, is we just say the same thing with new skin all the time.
Yeah, I mean, even without just the object lessons, a lot of those kind of catchphrases that you were saying, a lot of them say the same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so anyway, I can't think of any, but there's plenty of those if you look into it. If I had to guess, I would say you're right. That's just how that church is, and I think it's not even just that church, but
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's definitely not just them that talks about Red Sea and the giants and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. I guess it's just not knowing your Bible or whatever. It could be a combination of all these things we've talked about. But all that to say, getting to back to this song at hand, I'm also just very tired of hearing the same thing. I mean, Elevation themselves has written songs. Um, I mean, their song "Do It Again." Um, you move the mountains, and I'll see you do it again. And in here, same kind of thing. When you say mountains move, they do. So even it's just the same stuff, different day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Honestly.
just okay.
All right, so shall we get to verse 2 and keep going?
Yeah.
All right.
I will say this. I actually like that lyric. So the my weapon is worship and it's going to win. The Lion of Judah is roaring again. The one who is for me is more than those against. My weapon is worship and it's going to win. I do like, and I have heard this from other pastors and other speakers. My favorite version of it was from a gentleman who was from Egypt that came and did, I think he did like a speaking engagement tour after the this is about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. Um, After, because he's a Coptic Christian, and there was a really awful bombing. There was a terrorist attack on Coptic Christian churches in Egypt, in Cairo, and he came and did a tour for the church that got blown up. Um, Basically like a fundraising tour of like, we need help for medical and to rebuild the church, and we're one of the few Christian churches in the area, because in the Muslim country of Egypt, it's illegal to actually to go to be a missionary there. You aren't allowed to evangelize. So if you're a Christian, if you're born a Christian and you're in Egypt, if you're an Egypt national, a person from the Egypt nation, you become a Christian, that's fine, but you can't have external evangelists going in legally. It's against the law. So he was coming around saying, hey, we are one of the few Christian churches that is allowed to evangelize because we are there. So we need help rebuilding the church. And anyway,
Yeah.
and he used the phrase, the idea of like that our the biggest weapon, the most powerful thing we have to fight the battle is love. And I have heard the phrase that our weapon is worship. I've heard that before, and I actually kind of like that idea because I like Psalms. I like the Psalms, and the Psalms are full of images of God, of David using his worship, using his worshipful song in the Psalms as a way of battling his own mind, as a way of battling his worry, as a way of battling his impatience, as a way of getting those emotions out. So I actually like the idea of worship being your weapon. Now, I don't like the song "This Is How I Fight My Battles," which is built around the same idea, but I do like that phrase, that my weapon is worship.
All right. So then we get to the interlude and the bridge.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah, it's getting repetitive.
Yeah, so once again, repetition, not a fan of it. I also, this is not, if you watch the video of this, guys, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're just looking at the lyrics, you won't see this, but the way that he is singing, it's weird. He's asking questions. It seems like he's asking questions to God, but he is yelling it towards the audience, which is really weird to me. He's like, "What's a
Yes.
wall? What's a wall to a wall breaker?" Or whatever it is. Like, I forget, the Waymaker, whatever it is. And it was like, "What's a chain to a chain breaker?" And he's like looking at the crowd, like, it's really like, okay. So like world right. He's WWE moment there
Yeah.
for this guy.
Yeah. So let me read the lyrics real quick. So,
Oh yeah,
what's a
sorry.
wall? What's a wall to a waymaker? What's a chain? What's a chain to a chain breaker? What's a stone? What's a stone to a stone roller? What's a grave? What's a grave to a God who's greater? And yeah, I mean, the whole song he's been talking to God, so would assume that he's still talking to God. But you're right, he's not like looking up, as if he's talking to God or looking out. He's more looking down at the people in the front couple of rows, you know. And I mean, having been on stage in the past myself, that's like a way to connect with the people that you're quote unquote worshiping with. I mean, it's up to each individual to make sure that you yourself are focused on God and not focused on just the fact that you're all together on camera, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we don't know what was in each of their hearts, so
I'm
it's
sorry. I'm
hard.
just laughing. I'm laughing thinking about being in my current church and like trying to trying to connect eyes with other people in the pews. Like, and we wouldn't be singing this song, but I'm thinking of like like I'm trying to think of like what song we just sang on Sunday. It was like "Come ye sinners, poor and needy." It's like "Come ye sinners, poor and needy." Like I just can't imagine trying to like connect with, I don't know, it's very strange. And I was on stage when I'm on stage playing my bass. I have to I'm so focused on making sure I play the right notes. I actually have to remind myself to lift my eyebrows because otherwise I look angry. It's it's
All
such a
right, next time you're
strange
on
performance.
stage, next time.
We will feast in the house of Zion, y'all. You and me, we will do it.
I think that's just a thing of this style, I mean, we wouldn't do that in our current churches either, but I don't know. It's just weird when you put it that way.
I know. I'm sorry. I have a hard time, but that's I some of this is just really foreign to me. But that's because I grew up in there are things about the churches I grew up in that are bad too, y'all. Like there are things that I'm still having to unlearn theologically. So I'm not saying that every church I've been to is so much better than Elevation. It's just different. I just have different hangups. But so this is one where it's odd to me. It's from an outside perspective. This is odd to watch.
Yeah,
But
because I didn't think anything. I didn't think twice about that because it's so normal
yeah,
for me.
right, because that's what you have been going into. Finally you came out of after
Yeah,
years. So it's
yeah,
just different. But all that to say, once again, that after that they just repeat and repeat and repeat. Basically, I guess the main theme of this is that it's using that for with God nothing is impossible. With man this is impossible. With God nothing is impossible. That what we think is impossible is easy for God. Now, full context of that verse has to do with salvation and has to do with waking the dead soul. So, that's not really what they're talking about. They're once again talking about God as a problem solver, to give him another title. Waymaker, chainbreaker, stone roller, greater God than the grave, and also a problem solver, because that's what Jesus is the band-aid to my problems. So
and with no Leland, maybe he'll end up suing them.
I know I didn't see Leland on the stage at all, but I'm
Hmm.
sure he's in the crowd. I'm sure he's fine with it. I'm sure he was fine with it.
I don't know. Maybe he walked off stage when they started singing his song.
He walked off using that same raising elevated platform that Stephen Furtick randomly appears out of in the middle of songs sometimes.
That's you made that up. That's not what
I
happens.
know, I know, I know, but that's what it feels like because he comes out of nowhere. It's like, whoa, there he is. Where did he come from? Anyway,
It's just the camera shots.
I like my imagination better than reality, Adam.
Yeah, like he has a Taylor Swift esque where the
Yes.
stage opens
Yes.
up, he dives
Right.
in, and then he lays on the little train cart thing that zooms him to the other end of the stage.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Pulls him across like the guys in The Great Escape. Okay.
Yep.
We have officially lost the script, y'all. We've officially left the building. So
All right, last song coming up in the last video, which will be out next, called All of a Sudden. All of a sudden, Stephen Furtick appeared.
I am officially dead. I'm dead. I hope that actually recorded that way and there was no delay, because for me, we said it at the exact same time. Oh, y'all. But at least this has been giving us joy, Adam. This has been giving us a lot of joy.
That's true. All right.
All right.
We will see y'all with this last one next time.
All right.
See y'all then.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's discussion on the theology of everything. Please join the conversation by following us on Instagram at Theology of Everything. This is where we post content that relates to the current topic and where you can share your thoughts with us.